Welcome to Gray Overload. I'm Anthony, and I am going to be doing a review of the Ubiquiti G4 Pro. And if you had already seen this video, or part of it, or a version of it, I want to point out and thank Jim. He pointed out that I completely messed up and said the G4 doorbell a couple times. And instead of just trying to correct every single time I said that, I am going to re-record it for and actually say the G4 Pro. So that's why I'm in a different shirt and everything else. But thank you, Jim, for that. Made a huge mistake. Watched it last night, and it just did not register with me when I was rewatching it. So I appreciate that, Jim. But overall, the G4 Pro, I picked this up and I got it in September. I've installed it since then, so it's been up and running for 3 months plus, and I've been impressed with it. Overall, it does what I wanted it to do, which is do the same coverage area or a little bit wider coverage area than the doorbell at a higher quality. I actually would like a couple more of these to, or a few more to help, finish up and do a little bit more, um, basically coverage of my house as well, or my property, I should say. Been very reliable overall, unlike the doorbell where I've had a few RMAs here. The Pro just mounts pretty much as you've seen. I think I did a video, or if maybe I didn't do a video of it mounting, but it mounts quite easily. It's just a single connection up front. It's 4K. It's got PoE. It's got a nice field of view. It goes from -4 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. I believe that's -20 to 50 degrees Celsius, if I'm recalling that correctly. So it has a good temperature, I will say. I've been below that. In fact, I'm currently below that lowest temperature, and that's why you're not getting a video of it outside right now. It's just too cold. I'm not going outside. uh, I'll go out there for the necessities, and that's it right now. But it does a great job. It once I figured out with Ubiquiti's help on how to get the smart detection enabled, which I have a video on that on Ubiquiti frustrations, that Ubiquiti just did a horrible job implementing the software for enabling the smart detection. Smart detection, when you plug this in, you enable it, needs to be enabled by default. The motion areas, that can be edited later, but it all needs to be on when you enable that. It should not be in 3 areas at all. So there was that aspect of it that I had to get over and I was annoyed with. When my doorbell died, then I was more concerned about getting the smart detection enabled. However, I will say that the smart detection has greatly improved over these months. Um, at first, I have a tractor, so to help me do yard work and everything else, and it was never detecting it as a vehicle. Now it is, which is pretty impressive, I have to say. It also detects people quite well at a good distance too, so I can tell when people enter in my property and why they're there, or hopefully try to figure out why they're there. It's especially a concern to me when I'm away and I'm not around. I like to be able to monitor things there. It's also quite nice when I'm working in my basement and all of a sudden you get a notification on your phone saying, hey, here's a smart detection. So that actually is helpful in case I need to go to the door or get something. So that's a little bit on the G4 Pro smart detection stuff as well. This is, 4K. I know that they did come out with this in early access without a microphone, which I'm fine with. The microphone is nice. I get to hear things, but most of the time, I never am concerned about the microphone. In fact, for other areas of my house, I wouldn't need a microphone at all. But it is $450. I would like to mention that price here for this. So it isn't cheap. So a couple more of the downsides is that they don't have the Unify Protect that you can run on just an x86 system or an ARM system or a third-party system. They need to fix that. Or I'd like to actually see a better implementation to have these more independent and you could plug them into different systems as well. There are ways to do that and people have done that, but make it simpler. I think that they got a really winning product here. You know, the doorbell leaves a little bit to be desired. I think that needs a revision to help make it more reliable and to be able to last longer than a few months at a time. And you can see that in the forums. However, the G4 Pro has been rock solid. It's gone into September here. We had a couple warm days. For warm for us is like 90s, upper 80s, 90s. So it's not like hot. So I can't really determine how well it stands up in the heat, but I can determine how well it's standing up in the cold. And so far, it has been solid in that end. Considering today is, I think, 0 degrees right now. So, and it's noon here, so it is quite impressive. But overall, it is it is something that I would buy again. In fact, like I said, I'd like a couple more. Maybe I go with something else just to try out some of the other cameras. But the 4K works really well, especially when you go up to high quality in determining, hey, what's that license plate number? That's a key. I think if I had a different camera, lower res in the on the property where it's the driveway, I would not be as pleased, because I do like being able to see those details. I think that they're important, especially when you're trying to use this as a protect or a security item there as well. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else. I mean, like I said, I would buy it again, and they have a good adjustment overall, and it's got a little metal ring that you can put on top, or plastic poly ring that you can turn and help adjust it a little bit easier. And I think I would like to adjust it. I do like the one connection in. I think that there might be a time here where I do a few more adjustments to adding more cameras, at least to the garage, that would cover up a little bit more of area. And so just follow instructions. Instructions are straightforward to install, which is not always the case with items, but these were. And as you see, it's shipped pretty cool. You can see a couple dents in the sides. That was from shipping. But overall, it's a product that I would buy again. It does, if you're concerned or you want security that's on-prem, which is one thing I want, right? I want the local storage here, and that is one benefit rather than going to the cloud, um, where your data might be a little bit more iffy of who owns it or who can look at it. But here on Prem, I just have a UDM Pro. I probably at some point, if I get more of these cameras, would like to expand that and get a little bit bigger system with a RAID and everything else for more redundancy. But overall, the 4K does use a lot more recording. I record 24/7 on this thing, along with the doorbell and the G3 Instant, and I get 2 weeks out of it, plus all the smart detections and all motion detections. So it's storing a lot of data in there for each of those things, and I like going back. I've had the need to actually, there's been deliveries where the delivery person never walked in my driveway, and I've had to look and see what actually happened. And the camera, this has been invaluable for that, even at $450. Missing your packages and stuff like that. Extra little peace of mind has been helpful. So thank you guys for watching. Again, I thank you, Jim, for pointing out my total missing errors from before, and it is the G4 Pro that I am reviewing here today. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for making it to the end of the video and helping support Gray Overload. I really appreciate it. You guys are great. And until next time, God bless, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.